Hi, I'm Colin Meyer. I'm the Chief Medical Officer for Reata Pharmaceuticals. We brought to the IARC2017 conference this poster that describes the design and rationale of the second part of the MOXIe trial, which is a registrational trial in Friedreich's ataxia that, if successful, we believe would support approval of the drug in the US, Europe, and globally. Our drug, Omaveloxolone, also known as OMAV for short, and previously known as RTA408, induces the transcription factor NRF2. In this cell, what this means is that it helps to restore energy production in the mitochondria. In patients with FA, the target of our drug, NRF2, is suppressed. And so by giving our drug, we hope to induce NRF2, which increases energy production and should help patients improve their neurological function. We completed a first part of the MOXIe trial recently, and the results were recently presented by Dr. David Lynch from CHOP. This trial was the largest phase 2 trial done in FA. It enrolled 69 patients across 7 different doses and was placebo-controlled, and we were looking to determine if the drug could induce NRF2 in people with FA that would translate to changes in mitochondrial function as well as improvements in clinical activity. We also importantly wanted to identify the optimal dose that appeared safe and well tolerated to use in the registrational portion. So as you can see here on the poster, we observed improvements in the modified FARS score that were most robust at the 160 milligram dose. We saw improvements across all patients, and they were most pronounced in patients who did not have pes cavus, which is high arch foot. And as you can see here at 160 milligrams, the placebo-corrected difference was about 4.4 modified FARS points. This is important because in the natural history studies conducted by many of the key researchers globally, they've demonstrated that patients typically progress about 1 to 2 points annually. And so we noted improvements in the modified FARS score within 12 weeks that suggest the drug was able to recover function that was lost in the prior 1 to 2 years. And so all the data that were generated from the first part of the trial were incorporated into the design of the second part of the trial, which once again we call Part 2 of MOXIe. This trial will enroll a total of 100 patients, evenly given placebo or 150 milligrams of Omaveloxolone, which is very close in dose to the dose that was used and identified as being optimal in the first part of the trial. Because we want to make sure that we have a study that has the least amount of variability and noise, which helps optimize the chances of success for the trial, to have potentially a first drug approved for FA, we've taken multiple measures to limit variability. One of those is that we've selected and are enriching for patients who do not have pes cavus. Patients who do have pes cavus are allowed in the trial, but they will comprise 20%. We believe the drug was shown to have activity in both patient sets, but once again, the treatment effect was larger in the first part of the trial in the patients who did not have high arch feet. In the trial that we're conducting, if patients complete the 48 weeks of treatment duration, which is longer than the 12 weeks that we studied in the first part, they'll be eligible to roll over into an open label extension. So this means that if a patient receives placebo during the first part of the trial, they will be given active drug after the first 48 weeks. We have several eligibility criteria that determines if patients are allowed to participate. And so patients must have a genetic diagnosis of FA. If not, we will facilitate them receiving a diagnosis. And their modified FARS score must be between 20 to 80 points. So in addition to patients having a modified FARS score between 20 and 80, the patients who are enrolling must be between the ages of 16 and 40. Patients do not have to be ambulatory. Furthermore, patients must be able to complete exercise testing done on a recumbent bike. We have several exclusion criteria, including patients who have elevated markers of cardiovascular disease, but importantly, in the first part of the trial, very few patients were excluded due to these factors. So the timeline for our program is fairly clear. We've recently opened screening of the registrational portion of MOXIe Part 2. Once again, this would support approval, we believe, globally if the trial is successful. And so we hope to enroll all 100 patients sometime within the next year and then all patients will need to be treated in the trial for approximately 1 year, 48 weeks. And so once we enroll patients, and then once we have data, if the trial is positive, we would plan to then go meet with regulators globally and hopefully submit the drug for approval. And so it's approximately 2 years from the time that we enroll the trial, we hopefully could have the first approved drug for FA. Patients are interested in participating, they will need to contact one of the 17 clinical sites that's participating. We have sites across Europe, the US, and in Australia. They can find out those sites by searching for MOXIe trial online, and then it will allow them to figure out where the sites are. They will then need to contact the sites to determine if they may be eligible for the trial. We reimburse patient travel as well as a caregiver, and so there are no cost to the patient. And then they'll go through testing, and if they qualify, they will be on the trial for 48 total weeks. Then if they complete it, they will be able to receive open label active drug. And so thank you very much for your interest in our trial, and I hope I'm able to answer many important questions about our program. Thank you.